us begin, I want to thank all of you for making time today, be this your lunch and learn hour or standard meeting time. I'm glad that you chose to spend it with us today here. I am your grateful hostess with the leastest, Erica Cayley. Today, I have the honor and privilege of sharing one of my favorite people with you during our green room. From the moment I met Lynn Kiklevich in Crested Butte, Colorado 13 years ago, there was no doubt in my mind that she had an unstoppable vision of how engaging service can only be delivered by engaged people. And engaged people are only inspired to be so when you invest in them. I also knew that she was destined to accomplish some pretty great things. And so now, let me tell you where she's at and what she's up to. She was integral in the transition of brand repositioning of Crested Butte Mountain Resort to a multi-unit portfolio of full-service and condominium resort properties, totaling 450 keys, as well as several other resort operation departments. Now in her 5th year as general manager of the Fairmont Heritage Place Franz Klammer Lodge, she and her team have taken the property to award-winning status through the intense focus on culture and employee engagement. I don't want to steal her thunder because I'm sure she's going to tell you all about the proof in the pudding. She's a CHA, Certified Manager of Community Associations, Oklahoma State University grad. Are those the Sooners?
No, the Cowboys.
Cowboys. Okay, go Cowboys. She is also a fellow dog lover, former horse wrangler. Her astrological sign is Cancer. And above all, she's a heartist. So please meet my dear friend, Lynn Kiklevich. Lynn, thanks for joining us today. What a treat.
Thank you, Erica. That was amazing. I can't believe we've known each other that long.
I know. I'm not very good at math. Most of you know that. So just to even get that far was hard enough for me.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here.
I'm welcoming all of you to use the text chat function today to ask questions. It's a great opportunity here to add your questions. We'll also have 10 minutes at the end today to verbally ask questions as well. So if you're inspired at the end, take that time. Lynn, when you and I first worked together at Fairmont Heritage Place Franz Klammer Lodge, I remember you saying something to the effect of the team this is when you first started there, that while they perform at a relatively high level, most of the time we're held back by a culture of me, and they're just not as passionate, flexible, and service focused as you had expected. So it was something to that effect.
Yeah, it's exactly right. And I remember us having that conversation, and really, I had been kind of in denial. I couldn't really put my finger on what didn't feel right there. It just didn't feel right. And I felt like I had a lot of employees that had been there for a very long time. Technically, they were excellent at their jobs. But behind the scenes, they just weren't very nice to each other. And it wasn't very fun to go to work in the morning. And I just knew I had to make a change, and I had to figure out what to do about it.
Okay, so then what'd you do? I mean, what was we got to get going, and here's what we're going to do first and next, and then, I mean, because it sounds daunting at first. A lot of people just give up right there and they go, well, it is what it is.
It's exactly right. And it was hard at first. It's hard to get going. But you have to create a vision of what you're trying to be. And you have to be able to articulate that to your leadership team. So I coined it. I said, I want a culture of kindness here. And we have to all agree that just having someone who's good at their job is not enough. They have to be a good teammate. And I want good teammates. And we had to break down a lot of silos. You know, the departments really were just siloed up, and we just didn't have a lot of cross-departmental cooperation. And when something went wrong, there was just this amazing amount of finger pointing. And we had to get together as a leadership team and say, this is the vision that we want to create. This is what we want it to feel like, look like. And and then you have to decide what are those behaviors? What are the behaviors that we're going to have to instill in our team, or and start to get the ball rolling.
So this was a more of an executive team initiative then.
Absolutely. And it was something that Fairmont, within the Fairmont culture, had always been very important. Colleague engagement was something that we were basically tested on every year. There was this big, we did a big survey and you got a score. And we went through that process not long after I got to the hotel, and we scored horribly. I think something like a 71 out of 100 or something. So it wasn't just me saying this doesn't feel right. The statistics, the data backed me up and said, we've got a problem here. We need to figure out how to solve it.
So are you saying maybe to those of us out there that might be struggling with this, that you have to have a maybe a quantifiable number in order to get started, or do you need
No,
that? No.
no, you can, you feel if it's okay or not. And what you're looking for is you're looking for colleagues that demonstrate kindness to each other, that demonstrate resilience, the ability to function under stress, have that resilience, so that when something goes wrong, they need to have this positivity. So you're looking for this. And the way you have to go about it is you have to decide, this is what we want. We're going to reward those that demonstrate these behaviors, and those that don't we're going to have start having some hard conversations.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of difficult conversations over the first 6 months to a year with colleagues that had been working there, some for over 10 years.
Yeah.
And you have to just keep on with that coaching, and some were able to make the transition and some were not.
So let's get into that. There was one question just to clarify. Patrick asked, you talked about the need for breaking down silos, and a lot of this is about that. Are you talking about within your service level teams, or mostly around the executive and leadership teams, or all of the above?
It's all of the above. It's that what we used to have, literally, where, a lot of that's not my job. And a lot of, we do a nightly manager on duty report. There's a manager on duty report that's done every day. And then the night auditor sends it out in the morning. And we would have departments calling each other out in the manager on duty report for dumb stuff. It's like, if you saw that, why didn't you just take care of it? And we actually coined a phrase called #OwnIt. And that has really stuck. And it just came up in a meeting just last week. So somebody said something and someone else just jumped in with #OwnIt. And it's about that teamwork of, we aren't going to, if I have the time to go back to my desk and type up something in the manager on duty report that didn't get done, I had time to do it. So we had a lot of that kind of stuff going on, and we just had to really start talking about it within our teams. And then you have to you start with your hiring process.
Yeah.
We have a very specific selection process that we do not vary from. I don't care how desperate we are or what the position is. You go through every step of the process. And then it's also your performance evaluation process. You need to be rewarding those people in their performance evaluations that demonstrate the behaviors. And the ones who don't, it needs to be in their performance evaluation. You're not showing good teamwork. You're not very good at recognizing your fellow colleagues and showing gratitude. You need to do that more. I don't see you participating on any of the committees. You have to support this through all of those, HR processes.
So let's walk through these, getting the right people on the bus. And you're talking about hiring right?
Mm-hmm.
Hiring right, keeping the right people on the bus, and also bringing new people on the bus. So I'm going to go through some of the slides that you share here. Tell us about the criteria. So
So we
hiring
start
team
out,
players.
every single person who applies for a job at our property, no matter what the job is, there's an online assessment tool that we use that they have to complete, and there is a standard for what they have to score on that online assessment to move to the next level. And there are no exceptions to that without my approval. Then once they get through that, they have a pre-screen from the human resources manager. She pre-screens every candidate for every position. And then if they pass through that standard, then they're passed on to a panel. It's a panel interview. So it's the hiring manager and at least one other person from the department. It might be the executive committee member. It could just be another supervisor in the department. A lot of the teams use this as a growth opportunity, actually, for some of their young supervisors. So there's a panel interview. And then if it's a leadership position, then if they pass the panel interview and they're being recommended, they have to have an interview with me. So I'm the final gatekeeper for every leadership position in the hotel. And my interview really centers around, it's not really around their technical skills or their experience. I'm looking for fit. I'm trying to get at what is their style? What's their personality? Why do they think they're a fit for Fairmont? How do they handle difficult situations? Do they seem like a fun and happy person, quite frankly? I mean, it really boils down to that.
Okay. So tell me about these slides then. How do these fit? Hire team players. Where does this fit?
So being a good teammate is one of the absolute behaviors that you have to exhibit to be on our team. So we want to hire team players. So I'm going to ask questions in the interview about, give me some examples of of you being a good teammate. What does being a good teammate mean to you? Give me some examples. So we're really trying to get at that positivity. I want people that come to work happy. I want people that can have an optimistic view of the future. Things happen, right? Like not every day is a great day, but happy people can get through that and they won't bring everybody else down. And resilience the same way. I mean, in those stressful weekend days, are they able to hang in there, keep a smile on their face, pump up a coworker that might need it that day, have a bad day and come back the next day ready to go again. And then of course, coachability. How do they react to constructive criticism? Are they able to take that and turn it around into a positive change? Okay. And that's key, especially when you're trying to make a change to your culture. You need people that can do that.
Absolutely. And what is belief? What does that mean? Hire for belief.
Hire for belief. I think that especially they need to believe that they can make a difference, that they need to believe that their job matters. They need to believe in our vision.
And were these all unique Fairmont things or unique Franz Klammer Lodge things?
These are Franz Klammer Lodge things.
Okay. And when I look at these, and even just the pictures alone, I see a half dozen people here that I know have been there for at least more than 5 years. So
yeah, we have a great retention rate, and you know, it's such a tough hiring recruitment environment right now that when you get someone really good, we work really hard to keep them. And we have a reputation for being a fun place to work and for a place where there are a lot of opportunities. We do a lot of training. We really invest in the development of our colleagues. And so that really helps us with our recruitment.
So then tell me, so you said teamwork is a job requirement. I wanted to share some of these pictures because again, you shared so many of these where I'm seeing all of you doing things that don't seem to be work things. So maybe give us a couple second description of what we're looking at here.
Sure, that looks like part of our reception and transportation team on the left there, they've went rafting as one of their team building activities. We do a lot of activities outside of the hotel, and I think that's so important. We even try to go off site for a lot of our trainings, just because it allows everyone to focus and really be in the moment.
Okay.
On the right is our owner services team, and I'm not really sure. I can't remember. They were all dressed up for some reason and wanted to have their picture taken. I honestly can't remember, but that's our owner services team on the right.
Okay. You talked about the performance evaluation system as well, and some of the key criteria that you look at whenever you are evaluating. And these seem to be a little different than what a lot of people tend to look at. You look at things like sending recognition to other employees, and do you
Mm-hmm.
participate in employee committees, and do you volunteer for social responsibility activities? Those are bigger thinking ideas than do you perform the tasks of the job?
Exactly, because it's so much more than that. And honestly, most of the jobs in hospitality aren't that hard.
Mhm.
I mean, the technical pieces of them, teaching them how to use the software and where to check this box and that box and get the credit card and all those little technical, you can teach, that's the easy part. It's the rest of it. How are they interacting with their teammates? And then that engagement, this is part of engagement. If you're not participating in any of the extra stuff, then you're really not an engaged employee. And do you enjoy being around the people that you work with? And if you do, you're going to have more fun at work and you're going to give better service to your guests. And if you have someone on the team that truly doesn't enjoy any of the people that they work with and they don't want to participate, they're probably not very engaged and they're probably not one of your better performers.
So, how have you managed out those staff members that are not on board? And this is a key question. I think we have a lot of people here on the call that do have union properties as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is a big question.
Yeah, and that's a tough one. And honestly, I'll just be very honest and say I don't have a lot of experience with union properties, and I've been very fortunate in my career to not have to do that. But I think the knowledge that I have, I think it comes down to writing really good, it's writing really good job descriptions, and it's setting that expectation up front from the very beginning, and having a performance evaluation process that is still objective,
Mhm.
defensible, but where these behaviors are evaluated in an objective way. And most of the time too, as your culture starts to shift, someone who doesn't fit most of the time will exit on their own,
Mm,
and it becomes uncomfortable for them,
yeah.
and they will exit on their own. We also have the ability, because we're a seasonal property, where we're laying off a significant amount of our colleagues at the end of every season. We started a formal process where you are invited back. It's not just an assumption that because you were laid off at the end of the season, you shouldn't just assume that you're coming back for the next season.
Mm.
I actually give a personal letter to every single colleague that invites them back, thanks them for everything they've done, and invites them back for the next season. And we were able to manage out a few really difficult colleagues by just not inviting them back for the next season.
That's fantastic. Got another great question here. When you made these changes, did you spend much time or effort in reimagining the comp or benefit packages for your teams, or was that a secondary concern?
Completely a secondary concern. We look at that completely separately from performance. So we are always making sure we're competitive on our pay and benefit packages. And we about at least every other year, are out shopping and doing some surveying and trying to make sure we're competitive. But we didn't think about that, in terms, it was more of just about, this is how you're going to be evaluated on your performance. And then that will then tie to any, pay increases or that sort of thing.
So the strategy was we want people to be so happy to work here that compensation is almost a secondary concern.
Well, yeah, because like I said, I feel like we're competitive on pay, but we're probably, I know for a fact we're not the highest paying hotel in Telluride. We're probably not even the second or the third highest paying hotel in Telluride. We do have great benefits and that because of our connection with Fairmont, but we haven't had to, we don't want them to work for us just because just for the pay. It's bigger than that.
Mm-hmm. So I have a feeling we probably have some people that are listening today going, well, Telluride's different than where I work. Here, we don't have employees that have skill. I mean, we're lucky if they can fog a mirror, and well, we can't pay the wages that you probably can. And well, you don't understand the problems we have. And well, we're not Fairmont. So, what do you say to those properties or resorts that perhaps are questioning whether or not they could create an engaged team at their own properties because they don't have a big budget or the same location or the same resources, that kind of thing?
You just have to, you're going to spend the money on it one way or the other, I guess would be one of my answers to that. You're out there spending money on your turnover and your training and your recruiting, or you can spend the money to keep the really good people that you already have and make it more fun to be at work every day. And the word will get out. Your reputation will get out there, and it will make your whole recruitment process so much easier. The other thing is that when you have a team that works together and is having fun doing that, you become so much more efficient. And we're actually providing better service now at our hotel with about 20% fewer employees than we had when I first started working there. Engaged employees are more productive. They don't call in, they don't call off, they don't have workers' compensation injuries. You see all of that go down. Our workers' comp premiums have gone down 35% in the last 3 years. We haven't had a lost time injury in almost over 2 years. All of those things come out of this, and it pays for itself 10 times over.
Mm-hmm. Well said. So I'm going to give you 3 minutes to blow through some of these slides that show the things that you do invest in. Okay. So let's see how quickly you can
All
share
right,
maybe the
our
top
housekeeping
line.
team is just a hoot. On the right, we do a theme for almost all of our end of season parties, and that was a Roaring Twenties theme on the right. And all the housekeeping department just always goes over the top on their costumes, and that's them on the left as
Oh,
well. So
okay.
that's one of the big things. If you're going to have a function, if you're going to do a training, make it fun. Have a theme. Have music, dancing. All of those things. When they walk into a training room, there should be music playing, and you can have decorations and snacks and make it fun. And then you won't have to run around, threatening everyone to show up.
Yeah.
We used to have to do that, and now everyone comes to all of our all staff meetings. It's not even a problem anymore.
Okay. And so this calendar looks to me like you just have parties all the time. So I see Zumba
No,
classes.
a lot of the stuff we do, like Zumba, that literally takes 15 minutes.
Okay.
And it's like, come on, everybody, it's 15 minutes and it's super fun.
And
But a lot of the stuff is just super fun. Like we'll do, a stair climb. Right now we're having this big step, it's called September. We're doing a step challenge where everyone's on an app and we're counting how many steps you take in a day and giving prizes. And this is easy stuff that doesn't really cost money, and it's just fun, and everyone gets really into it.
I love it. So there's Zumba, there's a hike. This looks like a
Oh
brewery
yeah, this
hike.
was at the end of our wellness
Okay.
month. We always do a hike to the Telluride Brewery. So it's those T-shirts say "Follow me to beer."
Follow me to
Oh,
beer.
our
Okay, perfect.
annual,
Yeah.
yeah, this is our annual luncheon to reward everyone who's worked for 3 years or more at the hotel. We always do a really
Excellent.
nice luncheon. And then that's just one of our housekeeping people and their family. Oh, that's one of our end of the season parties on the left.
Okay.
On the right was our 4th of July barbecue. One of the traditions we have is that we feed everyone. If you're working on a holiday, there is some sort of an employee lunch. And usually I'm the one cooking it, either I or one of the other executive committee members. We do barbecues, lunches, but if you're working on a holiday, we feed you.
I love it. I love it. So let's whip through a few more slides here. Are there any other ones that you feel are particularly
Well, the left we did the left was a train the trainer
okay?
training that we did. They're called transformers. It's what we call our
Yes.
trainers. And then Rise is actually a corporate program that's about diversity and gender equality.
Okay.
And we do a lot of training programs under that header as well.
Okay. And then looks like you celebrate some other social responsibility initiatives, I see.
Yep, we do. And we do a lot of fundraisers for a local nonprofit. We adopted a local nonprofit that we do a lot of internal fundraising for, and the colleagues love it. This is what we do for all of our new hires. We send this out to all colleagues. We do a really neat welcome to the team, and everyone can see their picture. And then when you see them in the hallway the next day, you're able to say hi.
It's great. It's great. And I see you celebrate promotions as well.
We do. We make a big deal about this. At least twice a year, we put up everybody on the screen who's had a promotion, an internal promotion. And that's great for promoting the opportunities that you have within your own property and reminding everyone of all the people that have been able to advance their career without leaving your hotel.
So many other things to share here, but the proof is always in the pudding, right?
That's right. What are the results?
Yeah,
And
so the results tell us.
it's been pretty amazing. In 2017, we actually scored a perfect 100 on our engagement score, which was the highest in the entire core portfolio. We had the second highest score in 2018, and we'll have our results. We're just getting ready to take the survey next week, actually. Our guest service scores follow right along. We have the highest guest satisfaction score of any hotel in the entire Accor portfolio, which is actually over 4,000 properties across the entire world. Our guest service score right now is almost a 96 out of 100.
That's amazing.
We were runner-up for Hotel of the Year in the North and Central American division. It was the first time that a residential property had ever even been nominated for that award, so that was neat. We just received our 4 Diamond Award from AAA just 2 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
So
First
super
time?
Excited. Yeah, we're really excited about that.
Gosh. Good for you.
And then we've had a lot of Condé Nast and Reader's Choice and kind of awards over the years. And then also it's just on the financial side, it has also resulted in, budget surpluses. We're a homeowners association, so our homeowners fund our operation. And we've had budget surpluses every year, which then we're able to use for capital improvements and other fun stuff. So
I love it.
like I said, it pays for itself.
I love it. You've given us so much to chew on today. I want to open it up to everyone to ask questions. If you have a question, feel free to text chat it or just unmute yourself and ask away. We have the time, and we have a pro here with us, so now's the time. So while we're waiting for maybe some questions, I have a question for you. I mean, with what's next for you? Obviously, you want Hotel of the Year, not to just be a runner-up, but do you have other goals on the horizon for your team?
For us, it's about not becoming complacent. It's so hard, and I have a tendency to be that way. I have a tendency to be that person who says, okay, box checked, move on to the next thing. And you can never move on from this. So we try to reinforce, like you noticed in some of those pictures, everybody's got the foam #1. We want to stay #1 in all of those categories, and we talk about it all the time. And you just can never take your foot off the pedal.
Yeah. So what advice do you have for everyone that has been listening intently to you here? What advice do you have? How do they start? What if they have a GM that isn't like you? And, that's a tough question.
I think Lynn Bruce and I were talking about this. For those of you on the phone, Lynn is my talent and culture manager, and she's amazing. But she said you have to drink the Kool-Aid. You have to go all in and just start doing stuff. And then when the other departments, if you're just head of one department, say food and beverage, and you all start doing some really fun stuff, the other departments are going to see you and they're going to want to do it too. And so you just have to take that first step, and your leadership team just has to, as Lynn said, drink the Kool-Aid and start planning fun stuff. And you'll have some grumbling and people will go, oh, no one's going to want to do this. Yes, they will. I used to be like that. I would tell, that's a dumb idea. No one's going to want to do this. And then everyone was into it, like our music video competition and stuff. So you just got to go for it.
Uh-huh. You just look around and go, really? Oh, okay. I guess you're into this. We'll do it again. True. So no matter what other departments are doing, or even kind of how your GM thinks or feels about it, you can manage from where you are, is what I'm hearing you say.
I think so.
Or lead from where you are.
I think so. And I think, as a department head, you can control the culture in your department. I did that at the ski area. I couldn't control the culture in lift operations or ski patrol or some of those other crazy departments, but I could control what was happening in the lodging division. Mm-hmm. And we did a lot of stuff that people thought we were crazy. But it worked.
Yeah.
And
it did.
We had a great time.
And I was grateful to be a part of some of that too. It was fun to watch. We have one more question. Do you have time for one more question, Lynn?
Sure.
Okay. This is the last question. What was the time frame from when you made new goals and kicked off the changes we talked about, and the time you saw first signs of improvement and could celebrate some wins?
I think over the course of one season, we were able to see improvement, but it really took about 2 years before we really started to reap the benefits. And you had this culture that everyone was defending, protecting, I guess would be a better word, we started to see improvements within the first 6 months, mm-hmm. But 2 years before we got to where we are now.
That's a long time. It was worth it.
It was completely worth it. And the hardest part is getting the right people on the bus. You have to make some really hard decisions. And I'll be honest, I took a lot of grief from some of our longtime homeowners, even from my boss, who had been the GM at the hotel before me. Mm-hmm. Like, why do all these people not work there anymore? Mm. And I just had to tell them, you have to trust me. I mean, I promise this is going to work out, and you have to stay the course. But that was definitely the hardest part.
What a treat to have you here today, Lynn. Thank you so much for your time and your heart of service. That's so big. And for just giving us all just this knowledge today. Looks like somebody asked to be the presenter. I'm not exactly, I could get you off of mute, Jonathan. Let me see if I can do that for you. Maybe. I don't know. Jonathan, I don't even think I have an audio for you, buddy. Sorry. So with that being said, just thank you, Lynn. I truly, truly appreciate your time. I know the rest of us do as well. And just best of luck to you. We hope to see you as number one.
Thanks, Erica. It was an honor. It was an honor to have you ask me to do this. Thanks.
Well, it was not a difficult ask at all. So I appreciate you saying yes.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
I don't know how to get off.
You can just stay right there.
I'm stuck. You have me forever.
I will just let them all drop off. I can kick them off. Yeah, okay, all gone. Just you and me again. Thank you so much.